This is what 8 weeks of hard work and dedication is all coming down to. It is the final day of PUBG Europe Contenders Phase 3. 12 teams will make their way forward. They'll get a chance to have an opportunity to go against some of the best teams and find their way to potentially grab a spot for PEL. But the teams that don't quite make it, there is still chances. They will drop down to the next session of Contenders, which will start sometime next year. And then we will also see other teams who went out a little bit earlier, went out in the group stages, didn't do as good. These guys will have to kind of work their way the whole way back up. But this is the system. This is how it plays out. And this is why you need to bring your A game to every single game. As always, you've got myself, James Banks, joined by the lovely Mr. Cormac, a.k.a. Imperium. And we have 5 more games to go, mate.
Look at this. Yes, the teams at the top, they deserve recognition for the hard work they've put in. But the focus has to be on the likes of ELGIG in 9th, Milky Way in 10th, Northern Lights in 11th, Jokers in 12th, Last Crew in 13th, and YMCA in 14th. Nothing really divides these teams other than just the hopes and dreams and the push through to try and get into the top 12.
And that's what it's all about, right? Those last kind of little changes you can make. Maybe you have a good game out of nowhere that you didn't expect. Yep. Maybe you can grab some momentum from something like that. Or maybe you can still see yourselves falling short like you have across the rest of it. There's a lot of pressure on these teams. And where you say it's so lucky is that the top 12 will make it through. But the top 8 is where the big money is at as well when it comes to it. So for the top 8 guys, they're still fighting for placements in who want all that money. Now, PG18, they've got quite a lead here. But that can still be dwindled. InsideGames did continue to rack up points yesterday. Unity didn't slow down a bit, but they had some games where they were going out very early, and yet previously that was what was starting to happen at the beginning of this final stage. It's kind of started to kick back in a little bit now.
Yeah, InsideGames yesterday got 35 points over the 5 games. They were 3rd overall. Airstation Mike, they jumped up to 6th place overall, getting 41 points. And you know, it's also kind of, we touch upon how all these teams were going through all the games over the last couple of weeks, and it was kind of day after day after day.
Yeah.
But what's happened over the last 2 weeks, nearly 3 weeks, these teams have to forget about it. It's these 5 games, these 5 performances that every single moment, minute, second is going to count. Forget exactly what's happened. Just focus on what's in front of you.
And that's what it's all about, right? You have to now make the most of what you've done because you got to ignore anything that went bad in the previous days and the previous games that you've seen, and then they've got to focus on what is exactly going to be happening today because these 5 games could be the big difference for some of these guys. Jokers, again, they're right on the edge of it, but Last Crew, they had that win yesterday. They could easily play catch-up. They could easily come back into it. Jokers had 1 or 2 good games, right? We've seen them be able to have a bit more success, but it still isn't the Jokers that we had at the beginning. They slowed down so much since the beginning of final stages.
Yeah, and they were pretty consistent yesterday with their performances. And they teetered on the edge of getting that chicken dinner. And they're the only team in this final stages that have not got a chicken dinner, so they're fighting for it. And that's always going to hurt you. It's the same thing as on the opposite end of the spectrum, YMCA. They've gotten 4 chicken dinners, and they find themselves in 14th.
As always, guys, it'll be the last time you see this. It's the points. It's always the same. Nothing changes. 1 kill equals 1 point, and 10 points for first. It dwindles down from there on. But it is a harsh reality for a lot of the teams that get 9th to 16th place. Though, we've seen teams go out in 10th place, get 6 kills of it, and still find themselves overall within the top 8 of that game in particular.
Yeah, most notably, one that I would recognise with that is Airstation Mike.
Yep.
Game after game, we've seen them go early on, but they've racked up 1 or 2 squad wipes. Hell, even ToWzErA yesterday, he didn't go out at 9th, but they got the better of team moves, and he ended up finishing 2nd overall for his team.
That was brilliant as well. He was the true solo hero because he had it difficult. His whole team went up, and they had that big battle. They ended up winning it, but only ToWzErA was left alive, and he just somehow managed to duck and dive his way through all of Sanhok to get a decent placement off the back of it. But time will tell how it goes down for these teams now. It's 5 more games for today. That will bring us to the end, the final, the conclusion of PUBG Europe Contenders Phase 3. And for you guys, anyone who's watching this now, you'll be able to see like what some of these teams can do when they go up against the next 4 teams that have a potential of losing out and being relegated from PEL.
That's very true, and I'm sure those teams that are teetering on the edge in the PL, I'd like to think that they are watching, that they are keeping on top of what these teams are doing, what the likes of PG18 are doing, what Unity are doing in terms of how they're going to prepare going into the PEL promotions. And even by the end of this run, the players that will have played in the final stage will have played 80 games, roughly about 2,000 minutes of PUBG action just in this Phase 3 alone. So that just shows how hard these teams are fighting. Never mind the scrims, never mind the practice, just in the competitive games alone to try and get into the top 12.
I love that you brought up the minutes there. There's people like that are struggling to get that many games going in general, right? Like I see people that play and they're like, oh yeah, I've got a lot of hours in PUBG, and they're like, I've got 400 hours or something. I'm like, yeah, the rookie numbers. You got to bring that up because these pro players are going hardcore.
That's one of them. They're sleeping. Like.
Yeah, like that's one of the most interesting things. You speak to a lot of people who either watch commentary or watch games, and they're like, I'd love to be a pro player, and then I hear like how many hours they're putting into the game a day, and I'm like, well, you're not going to make it. Like it's sadly the truth that these players are putting in a significant amount of work here. They are going absolutely crazy to try and make their dreams a reality. And that is being a pro gamer. It is getting towards PEL. And for some of these teams, like we're talking about the relegation teams that will come through from PEL, they'll be looking at this. And I think they should genuinely be scared. It's a whole different scenario
of course,
in this lobby when you compare it to a PEL lobby. But those 4 teams that are on the cusp of being potentially relegated, there's teams in here that I would say are definitely better than some of these guys right now. And I'm not going to name names, but PG18, they're a team that I'm definitely going to say, like, you are on the edge of making it straight off the bat, because just from what we've seen from them in general, but how do they do when they come into that stronger lobby?
Yeah, and before we get into the playing trajectory and where these teams are landing in this game one, typical example is M47. They're in 4th place in PEL, and they just qualified from Phase 2. And they're taking on the Giants. They're beating the likes of G2. They're pushing down the likes of Pittsburgh Knights. So it is definitely possible. But either way, that's that team. This is these games that we have in front of us. 5 in total. First game kicking off in Erangel.
And interestingly enough, Northern Lights again have stayed away from military base.
Yep.
They're looking to try and grab as many points as possible. We have a potential for a military base. It's not as harsh as what we saw last time, which gave us a military base. Unity is still going to go over towards Nova, and they'll be able to see quite happily that there's no one else there at the moment. So I think if you're Unity, you just stay, right? You maybe sit on the bridge camp once you've got your loot done, and you wait to see where the next circle's going to go, so it's not really a problem for them. Jokers have got their split going on up around Severny, Moon and Set elsewhere as of now. ELGIG are back to at least keeping Milky Way friendly, just like waving across the road and saying, hey guys, you're back here, no problem. Let's just see how this goes down a bit later on. But Milky Way did start to get slightly more aggressive yesterday. And can they continue to do that again today? Maybe. Like I've said it multiple times. ELGIG have been very lucky that when there's even been 3 teams dropping near, remember they had one game where they had Zaki team, a South George team, and they were the North George team. They still don't get into fights with these teams. They all just seem to peacefully run around each other for the first part. I want to say someone just go for the fight. Take them down. It's the last day. What do you got to lose?
Exactly, yeah. They've gotten absolutely nothing left to lose now. This is the kind of game where I very much recommend that you have the dedicated map stream up in a separate tab. You type in chat, !map, link pops up. You're able to head on over to, because the rotations on this potential military base, if it goes against it on Phase 2, it's going to cause a bit of an issue for some of these teams. If it goes heavily in the direction we don't have the majority of the teams in the military island, it's going to cause even more hassle for these teams trying to have to make their way across. So this first game, it is definitely challenging for these teams alone, even on the circle.
And I think when it comes down to a circle like this is the harder one to guess. I spoke about the one we had yesterday for military base, where I was like, this is pretty much going to be a military base one. With this one, because it's not got so much water down in the south, there is still a good chance that we can end up north and exclude it straight away. Or we can end up with a horrible one where it's 50-50, sits in the middle, and then we still keep that little island in between. That's the worst one, because then they are fully 50-50 then. You've got no way of guessing.
I have a feeling it's going to be that kind of circle on Phase 2. I do. Because
why not? One of the final games, yeah, you know.
Exactly. Just to kick things off, make things extra spicy, bring a little bit more entertainment, as if they haven't put in enough hours, as I talked about, as if they haven't put in enough work. Why not make it just that little bit harder? Now, the rotation's coming through. Northern Lights, they didn't go into Military Island or head in that direction. Now they're trying to connect onto the side of Team Moops.
And actually, Moops took a fair amount of damage there. They've also lost the vehicle, had to spend their utility a bit as well. But Northern Lights, they don't want to take this challenge. They're well aware of their position and the fact they still need a good amount of points. They're also fighting on new terrain. They've not dropped in this location before. Normally, when they were going for the other drops, they were heading more over towards like Stauber and stuff like that. So I'm not against what they're doing, but like, you're moving away, you're trying something different, you want these additional points in there. You've just backed away from this team fight. Maybe this 2-2 split isn't how you want to kind of play it out, but Tempest, they did have a good game yesterday. That win was very impressive from them, but then they went straight to like maybe a 16th or 15th place on the next game. Odstrelovac, he's fighting out in the open, and he's able to take him down with the help of Wookie Bookie. That's the job done, at least on the first kill, but can they deal with the rest of the InsideGames players? These are two teams, again, that are fighting for as many points as possible. InsideGames, they want to get higher up, get more money within the standings. They're currently sat in second place. They'd love that 10 grand if it is what it could be reachable for them, if they can see PG18 maybe fluff some games today. But for the likes of Tempest, they want to just add as many points as possible now to ensure they don't drop out the top 12.
Exactly. And considering they put in the work to get the points yesterday, to jump up from 13th to 9th from yesterday's games, it would be a shame for them to fall so early, at least in this game one. But that's going to be a kill point in their favor as they are on the northeast direction. It's also a little bit of a let's play a bit cool for this early game, see how these teams are rotating, build up to what we will see in the future part of this game one, hell, even to the future games, as we have 5 games today. What teams are going to stand out? Looking at yesterday's performances, no team really stood out heavily compared to other days. Considering we had 5 games, the highest points scored were by Team Moose. They got 44 points in 5 games. Not to be sniffed at, but nobody really stood out absolutely exemplary to the other teams. But Melman trying to connect on the Pixelix.
Yeah, InsideGames can't catch a break. They run straight from Tempest, now into Tornado. Pixelix, you do have to be very careful there, my friend. Your car may be out in the open, but they're just going to continue to tap away. Zample's the one to be able to knock him down. Aaliyah is there as well. Zampeek looking to try and save him if he can, but his car's on fire as well. There is some smoke down, but not enough, and I very much doubt they've got enough utility that they want to be spending this early on. Can they try and find a way to get Pixelic back up?
I do think in hindsight that was not really the safest rotation coming out from InsideGames. It does speak for itself because they have pretty much lost 2 members already, but considering the playing trajectory, there was always going to be a cluster of teams in around that direction, if not to the north. Where it would have been much safer for them to even head up north past Jazza and get into the circle from the north area.
And Northern Lights, they were dealing with Moops to start off with. Now they're getting closer towards the ELGIG players, but it's just Marcelek at the moment. The rest aren't too far away, but they're also in the middle of a fight with Jokers. So that means ELGIG are pinned down in 2 separate fights, quite away from each other here. Yeah. And even Last Crew's taking shots at Marcelek now. He can't. He's just like, okay, I need to get the hell out of here, and that's the right decision. Too much going on. You don't have your teammates with you. They're pinned down by Jokers, and you'll try and escape now. Which looks like it could be quite successfully until the car blows up. The timing. Marcelek didn't have a chance to react. That was rapid.
That's going to be ELGIG losing a player straight off the bat. Northern Lights picking up a precious point for themselves. You then have Hawkey from Team Oops in a 1v2 against 2 members of BetterLuckNxTime.
Do you know what? With BetterLuckNxTime, they should also have the name Never Give Up, because I, for one, have been more impressed with them over the last week, well, last 2 weeks, I'd say, because they were down low, they were struggling, yet they still pick up wins. And yesterday, they were taking on huge fights. Didn't matter which team they were running up on. They were going in there, getting some additional kills. And yes, okay, they don't have the greatest amount of points right now. But for me, they just don't seem to want to stop. They're continuing to push. They believe in themselves and they believe in what they're doing. And it's looking slightly better for them.
Well, yeah, because even when you look at their statistics of points, standing points and kill points, they've got 135 kill points, which is up there with the best of them and shows that they have the aggression. But what makes it harder for them is, even if you take this example alone, based on the playing trajectory and where these teams are going to be located, they're in a 2-2 split, which is not very comfortable for them because, yes, they have 2 separate compounds, but with so many teams around them and so many opponents shooting in their direction, it makes it harder for them to hold on to those areas.
Well, we're going away from military base, and Unity made the right call. They had already crossed over the bridge.
Yep.
Bit of water still included, but that will be got rid of when it comes to the next phase shift. It's going to keep this open area, though, very nice for a lot of these teams. Plenty of space, plenty of compounds, at least for now. And you'll see a few fights on some of the teams that are still having to go through their rotations. You see InsideGames now moving away from the coastline alongside Tornado. So you'll see a few fights there. YMCA will have to find their space in. Unity won't really have a problem creeping in from the eastern side there, and Milky Way were just finding their way in. So everyone's going to have a spot at least at the beginning of this. So this could be quite a quiet phase depending on whether teams want to get aggressive or not.
Very true. But at the end of the day, the teams we have to focus on, like I said, ELGIG, Tempest, Milky Way, Northern Knights, Jokers, Last Crew, and even YMCA from 8th down to 14th, fighting for that top 12 spot. See how they rotate. YMCA, they're playing their standard passive game, holding on to the edge of the circle on the east side, not even in it right now. They're rotating in up in the northerly direction. They do have Tempest to the west of them, but for now they're pretty safe. Unity, as we'd seen, rotated up from Military Island, are getting close to Tempest, not so close to the side of YMCA.
And YMCA, they went for a bit of a further north rotation across Shelter to find their way in now. And the spot they've chosen is actually more open than many of the other options they had there. Unity actually going to be taking some shots from Tempest at this point at the same time. If you guys are watching the map screen, you'll see teams are now figuring out, okay, they're here, we can work this out. Take a few shots, make sure we keep them at bay. Maybe we'll be able to pick up a knock, do some extra damage. Every little bit will help going into it for the later stages of this all. Now, I like Airstation Mike's position at the moment.
I was just thinking that.
Yeah, very, very central. We've got, okay, 1-1 split between Hugstar and Jazza. Then we got fEJK and, I forget my ToWzErA. There we go. They're on top of each other at the moment. They're just holding up in the compound. But what they're able to do here is take a good amount of control across the field area, which is very flat, and they can see everything from this position. The only problem is if one of Hugstar or Jazza gets knocked, then yes, that could be a bad side. But at the moment, they can see a lot and they can get a lot of information for depending on where they next want to put themselves.
And they're the kind of team that is generally very positive to reacting to those rotational changes, to the circle changes popping up, whether it's with them or against them. So they are very responsive to that. So I'm confident that the angles that they hold on to with that 2-1-1 split will work out for now. We did see Northern Lights take down one member of Last Crew, so putting the side of Last Crew under a little bit more pressure, considering they're fighting against Northern Lights is not looking too good.
They just knocked him though, right? They managed to revive him, I believe.
Oh,
they revived him. Yeah,
fair enough.
Yeah, we got all four of them just down towards the south of school at the moment, and that's the thing where I said like you'll see some of these fights they'll pop off at each other. But generally, the finish off is going to be harder because everyone's already in a spot where they're not massively out in the open.
That's so true. Because they've made the rotation, the circle is quite central. It did shift very heavily in the mainland on this phase 2. They're just going to hold these teams at bay from where they are located. Quick math on Potato Hill, dead center. You have team moves to the west of them. How is this phase 3 going to shift up? It does go quite central, but definitely putting more pressure on the teams in the south easterly direction. InsideGames, Tornado Energy, Tempest, Unity, even YMCA a little bit.
Now Unity, look at this, instantly going straight into the blue, and they're going to work their way around up north. They don't want to deal with the fights. They want no potential of losing a player on a rotation. They're going to try and work their way in from a different spot. And remember, they're quite the unknown entity in this because they moved just across the bridge and moved and stayed on the very edge of the circle. So not many teams know exactly where they're coming from, so they can continue to maneuver around successfully here. But Compop for Tornado, he'll be going down on his own. His teammates, they were just close enough, but obviously not close enough to save him out here. They don't expect the two InsideGames players to be within this one house to fight from. They've also got vehicles to get out of there with as well. Now, I know Pachinki's almost excluded in this, but I would still love us to get a big city Pachinki ending. Like, give it to me, please. All the players would hate this, but I will enjoy every moment of it if it does happen.
So would I. Not
can
gonna lie.
dream.
Or even just in some way the fields of Pachinki, just having in any way Pachinki in those last couple of circles would add a huge level of spiciness to these teams that do get to that point in the game as Orange connects onto Sampula of YMCA. That rotation from Unity working out for now, catching out YMCA.
What's really interesting as well is just Orange and his teammate in the car. They managed to take down Sampula, but now they're going straight into a battle with 3D Max, who have also spotted this out.
Yep.
The rest of the YMCA players are down there in the south of where that fight's going on, but you've got Tempest, who have heard the shots and also working their way up. So Unity do need to be slightly cautious. The rest of the team have joined up. Orange has managed to get this final kill in there, but there is a lot of potential now. They've made this noise of other teams now starting to come into the fight.
Now, Airstation Mike, they were on a 2-1-1. Hugstar did make his way up to join Jazza, so they're still on a 2-2 split. They did have a nice juicy crate land in their direction as well, picking up that level 3 gear as Double finds and Silenzo confirms that kill. Going to be a point in the favour of Team Moops.
Little sneaky double there.
Yep.
He's like walking across Potato Hill. His teammates there giving him cover fire, but he manages to get close enough to Quickmath to get an easy kill there, and Silenzo didn't have a chance to react. Aaliyah hopping out for Tornado. They've already lost one player. It's PG-18 now fighting back and forth with them. Melman trying to find himself some cover behind the car. But this is all of PG-18 taking shots at them. Examples further away as of now, but the Wanderer looking to do some serious damage. Couldn't quite control all the recoil. Melman's going to be able to put some pressure back onto him. Damage has been done. And the Wanderer will just fall away just a slight bit further now, because he knows he needs to be in a position where his teammates can give him the cover he needs.
That was a little bit of a panic fire coming out from Wanderer. Feel like he could have composed and stuff a bit more, but at the end of the day, he still kept himself alive, was able to back away from that Tornado Energy, staying as a 3-man team. They do have InsideGames to the north of them, not looking too good. The shift going up in the northwesterly direction, going to add a huge level of spices. And Pachinki,
still there.
Pachinki, still
I'll
there.
take it. We only lost a portion of it. I'm happy. It's a dream. It can happen. At least it's not ending on Potato Hill. That would be awful. Potato Hill just means whoever's on top of the hill generally just has a massive advantage to shoot down on everyone. I've seen a few of those Potato Hill games. Me and Toby were losing our minds last time. But Tornado, they've actually done well to pull away from that, because they were heavily under fire. They had PG-18 and InsideGames taking them down. They lost one player to InsideGames already. PG-18 is still looking to try and challenge this, though. They're moving further forward. They've got the time to do it with him, but they do need to be cautious. Unity now under pressure from Last Crew. And Last Crew finally now coming together as a full 4-man squad. They've been close to Northern Lights, but Unity may be in school, but school will be out of session soon because it's going to be cut off by the circle. So they need to get themselves into a position that will work out for them. But this is not good for Tornado at all. Deez and the Wanderer picking them apart. That is a full squad wipe there going down. They already lost one player earlier on towards InsideGames, and the final 3 go down at the hands of PG-18. Good stuff from them. And PG-18, they do it with a clean slate as well, keeping 4 players alive.
They don't directly need the points. They hold themselves on top of the mountain, but they'll take it.
No, they're making sure they get that 10 grand. That's what they're making sure. They're like, InsideGames, we see you getting kills. Don't worry. We're going to get kills as well. Anything you can do, we can do better.
I was just thinking that. Nokia connecting onto ToWzErA. Quickmath put under more pressure. They did lose one member early on at the hands of the sneaky snake double from Team Moops. And as 3D Max drive on by, we'll see the grenade being popped out. As Mans connects on the Snoopy and a Nukdov gets knocked down. Unity eliminated just like that at the drop of a hat by Milky Way.
That was crazy quick as well. YMCA will fall down straight after him. And this is where it all goes down. We had that previous phase where it was very quiet, very chill. And now on these rotations, it gets harder. Less room, moving out of compounds, fighting out in the open a bit more here. And Potato Hill is currently so crowded. 3D Max, Quickmath, Moops, and Tempest all sat on top of it at the moment.
And we do see the picture-in-picture, the push between Airstation Mike and PG-18. PG-18 tended to get there a little bit quicker, so they hold the high ground. As Cliff connects onto Furex, confirms that kill. Airstation Mike and PG-18 trading knockdowns.
And that's benefiting Airstation Mike massively here. ToWzErA will go in for the finish off. Hugstar still on the floor, but he is alive as of now. Tempest, Clip, still trying to work his way up. They've managed to do some damage. They took down one of the 3D Max players, but still plenty more to find. 2 very different style battles going on here. The one down south and the one on Potato Hill on the east.
It's funny because on the edge of Potato Hill, Team Oops actually took a kill away from Airstation Mike. InsideGames do go out in 13th place. Airstation Mike and Jokers joining in on the fun to get that work done.
Now it's not much fun for PG-18 as only Ubica remains now. He's further up to the north from where these fights are going on, and the best thing he can hope for is that he might be able to trap some of these players who don't expect him to be prone down by that tree. He is in the circle, though. That's the positive. Everyone has actually made their way inside the circle. Interestingly enough, look at the new circle. We've just got the fields now. It's all open area. There's like, what, 3 compounds in total that you can sit between. ELGIG, though, MOORPHEUS and KnorkiS in a good position. Pretty much center of this new circle. Why is ghostar still in Pachinki on his own?
I think he was providing a level of information, just kind of having that 2-1 split. It can work out. What's going to be hard for him now is making his way across the field to join up with the rest of his team.
Yeah, they're going to have to provide some great cover fire for him to make his way over to him. And I also think for ELGIG, you can't afford to have a position where ghostar gets taken down. You only have 2, especially how many points you want to try and achieve in these last 5 games here.
Definitely. Now, quick math. Do go out in 12th place. So Potato Hill fight goes down to Tempest, 3D Max, and Team MOOPHEUS. I do want to point out that Tempest were holding onto that hill so accurately that they were able to pop shots off in the direction of Airstation Mike. Previously, now BetterLuckNxTime, they are gatekeeping the side of Airstation Mike.
Yeah, Airstation Mike's route in to the circle is going to be oh so difficult. One way they've got BetterLuckNxTime and a full squad there. The other side, they've got MOOPHEUS, Tempest, and 3D Max. They are taking shots at 3D Max at the moment, and Yubica can see all of this. He doesn't even need to move. He's waiting to see what mistakes they'll make and if he can capitalize on them.
Yeah, he's going to hear those shots in all directions, see if he can just get a little bit more information that he can use to make the perfect move to cause hassle, whether it's on the BetterLuckNxTime, whether it's on the Airstation Mike, or hell, even Team MOOPHEUS or Tempest as the fight rages on the edge of Potato Hill. The grenade pops out. Is it going to connect on the hand? He does a little bit, but Clip finds Reggie Beer, though.
Clip's got up close and personal, but he's only able to get 1. He's going to be finished off instantly as well. Phantom's able to see some of this, and he's going to deal the damage onto Hawkeye. In the meantime, Jokers have gone down elsewhere, and it's a battle between ELGIG and BetterLuckNxTime to take the kills from them. MOOPHEUS still able to push forward, but they need to be oh so careful. More of the 3D Max players are pushing up. There's 3 of them, and they are ready for this. Hanny able to get another one in, but instantly he's taken down after. It's trade for trade successfully here, but the real winners are going to be 3D Max.
Although, look at Airstation Mike. They're joining in on the fun. Team MOOPHEUS eliminated in 10th place. Tempest did get a little bit too big for the boots previously early on, and that does hurt them as they go down in 9th place. Airstation Mike, they made their way up from the southerly direction, heading on to east, joining in that fun, taking away a couple of kills.
And they're for 3D Max. They're going to be loving life. They third party successfully again. They do it over and over again. Yubica, he's finally found. This time it's going to be from BetterLuckNxTime, though. Manages to get towards the top 8, though. It's 1 additional point, which he won't shy away from. The new circle pops, and that will exclude BetterLuckNxTime's compound and leaves us with only 2. 1 that ELGIG has and 1 that 3D Max has. But not all of the 3D Max players are within it at the moment. The North is secured by Last Crew, but Northern Lights will challenge them for that. Milky Way are going to have to make their way in from the west, and it's going to be an open fight for them with lots of trees to give them cover. But is it going to be enough cover for them to actually get out successfully? Maybe they can join into this fight up in the north and surprise one of the other teams.
I'll tell you who could be surprising. That's going to be the members of 3D Max Solar. But does get spot out. Very quick reactions coming out from Airstation Mike. Not even a knockdown, just a little bit of damage on the Hugstar. It does leave Noki and Phantom down the slight bit of Potato Hill. They are inside the circle. They do have a little bit of protection from that hood, but it's not going to be easy.
You hear these shots being rattled away. Milky Way and Last Crew taking down the Northern Lights players. Only Perfectix is the one that's standing up. Everyone else is down on the floor. Perfectix has to find a way to try and bring himself back into this. He wants to avoid being taken down. He's very low on health, and Offstring might see him soon if he decides to push any further forward. Oh, he gets a nade out. This could be... Oh, will it roll down? Would it be close enough? Very close by. Doesn't actually manage to tag up Perfectix at all, but it won't be long till he's seen at all.
And because Jokers have been taken out, that is helping both Milky Way, Northern Lights, and BetterLuckNxTime. Airstation Mike, they go down at the hands of both BetterLuckNxTime and 3D Max. 2 of those kills going over to BetterLuck, and 1 going over to 3D Max. The rotation from BetterLuckNxTime working out very nicely from this south compound that was excluded. Northern Lights go down in 6th place. We're down to 5 teams, 16 players. Milky Way still has a full squad, presuming Mans will get revived.
And for Milky Way then, that was a solid hold on that final push round. They did have a bit of help from Last Crew, but they were also battling Last Crew.
Yep.
So Northern Lights were just pinned down in the middle of all of it. They went down, and now we've got a fair fight on our hands between these two teams up in the north. For ELGIG, with MOORPHEUS and KnorkiS, they're still in this compound. I don't know how many kills ELGIG have. They've had a few, I think, but either way, this is huge for them. They're one of the teams that desperately want these additional points. And might be able to get themselves in the money.
100%. They can gladly get in there. They have the talent, they have the ability, just got to put it all together. Tell you who else has to put it together. That's the side of BetterLuckNxTime. Shots by Phantom, fluffed a tiny bit. Arctic's down to a little bit of health, throwing himself down.
Did he not see him? Phantom, no.
There you go.
That was so unfortunate. He actually peered over the edge, and it looked like he might have been able to see Arctics, but he decided to back away. Then he ends up going down. He's currently knocked, trying to hide behind the car, but the rest of the BetterLuckNxTime players want to push on it. It's easy pickings for them, and Noki has no chance but to hide, and he then will have to deal with the rest of the BetterLuckNxTime players, but how he will do that is beyond me. He's close towards getting in the circle, but there's no other teams that are really going to be able to help him. All the compounds have been excluded now, which means we've just got open area and hillside, plenty of trees to hide behind.
And the high ground, realistically, right now goes down to BetterLuckNxTime, but they have to travel a little bit downhill, so it does expose them a little bit as Noki just hiding behind it.
He saw him through the gaps in the wood. Smart stuff from Faultlessly, but he's still not able to get the job done. They will get taken out either way, but it's only a knock, so it's not the end of the world. 3D Max grab a 5th place. And considering how yesterday started off so poorly for 3D Max, they're not going to be too complaining about that one.
Not at all.
Now 4 teams and 14 alive. Headshot's going to be landed onto KnorkiS, so ELGIG, they've had to pop out of their compound, and they've been found and shut down instantly. MOORPHEUS now all on his own. ELGIG will be happy with a top 4 placement, but they needed some additional kills alongside it. Remember, these are vital points needed for ELGIGANTEN.
BetterLuckNxTime. 8 kills into the top 4. Every single point counts. We disregarded them at a certain point in these games, but they rose from the ashes with that grenade, taking down ELGIG, adding another couple of kills. That's going to be double digits, and now we see Last Crew turning their attention onto Milky Way, but the shots go fired out, the grenades pop off, leaving DP just the last man standing.
And DP is trying to jump over any bullets coming his way. He's on the hunt to do some more damage and get the kills in. Finds himself one more. Going to go and try for the finish off. There's nades coming out to him. DP has to be careful, but he can't avoid them all. Milky Way going out in 3rd place. A good effort, but Last Crew proved too strong.
And the only team that's helping is BetterLuckNxTime. Mook, will he get revived up in time? How much grenade and utility has Last Crew used in wiping out Milky Way? The high ground goes over to BetterLuckNxTime. The low ground going over to Last Crew. AKA Skills pushing his way up. But look at Fate. He's flanking around. He's proning himself down. The next circle pops up. It goes towards Last Crew, pushing BetterLuckNxTime in an awkward position.
Yeah, now we're going to have to see BetterLuckNxTime make their way down the hill. BetterLuckNxTime already got good positions to fight from here if they want to, but with them having to then move into the new circle, that gives Last Crew a massive advantage. It's all based on the terrain they're going to fight from. And look at the way Last Crew are doing it. We've got AK Skills in the circle, down and looking, pushing around, but then we have all the other 3 members together on the western side, just having a good scout around, trying to see if they can spot anyone else sneaking about. And, well, one person that certainly is sneaking about is Fate, who was actually the big heavy hitter yesterday for these guys.
Man, he could do a lot of hurt. Last Crew, right now, Rip, Jappy, and Mook are not looking in the direction of Fate, so he could surprise attack, but he's got to get those shots off. He has to get at least 1 knockdown and a flush if he's going to make the difference. But Rip connects on the Faultlessly. Arctics and Fate, the 2-man left upstanding for BetterLuckNxTime. It gets harder and harder for this team who need all the points, but so do Last Crew. Last Crew find themselves so low down on the table, but also so close to the top 12.
And you got to remember, Last Crew had the 18-point game yesterday. A win on Erangel, and it was the opening game. Could they do it again? Could they have back-to-back opening game wins to really help them out here? I am so worried about where Fate is, though, because he is in such a good position, and they have no idea. He's in the ghillie suit as well, which does help to a degree. But will Last Crew fumble this as they try to push on up? Can they get sideswiped? They've got the control of the circle. They're forcing BetterLuckNxTime to push into them. But BetterLuckNxTime, they have the sneaky opportunities here. Fate now has a nade in his hand, starts to move around a little bit. Artix gets dropped on the floor. Faultlessly is just going to get knocked by the zone. That's not how you want it to go down. More nades come in, more damage being done, and it's a 9-kill victory for Last Crew. 1 point further ahead than what they did yesterday, but it's the first game again. Last Crew love it.
Gotta get that first chicken dinner of the game. Now, not to be the devil advocate, but Last Crew, they did follow up with some bad performances.
Yeah.
Yesterday, but still, starting the day, the final 5 games with a chicken dinner, it's going to help their cause. But better luck next time. They got, I think, 10 or 11 kills with the second place. Considering where they were in the standings, it could still put them up into the top 12.
Yeah, and this is what's really interesting, is that BetterLuckNxTime, I said about it, they're just not giving up at all.
Yep.
Everything yesterday we saw from him. We saw Fate. He was delivering to a level that we'd never seen him play at before. And again today, he's the one to get 5 kills for his team.
Like, Jokers finished in 11th. I don't think they got any kills, possibly 1 or 2. They were ahead of Last Crew and BetterLuckNxTime. YMCA went down in 14th. They were ahead of BetterLuckNxTime. Northern Lights went down in 7th. And they were ahead of both Last Crew and BetterLuckNxTime. We could see a couple of positional changes straight away after this game 1.
What's interesting as well is we look at the kills. We saw 11 for BetterLuckNxTime, 9 for Last Crew. Milky Way still out of 5. ELGIG with 3. 3D Max actually in there with 7.
Yep.
Northern Lights, despite getting 6th place, only managing 2 kills. But then Airstation Mike, as again, we always say it, get a 7th place, 6 kills. It's just what they do. It's just a continuous, it doesn't matter if we go out earlier than what we wanted. We had a good position, but we like to fight. So here we go.
And then PG18 going down in 8th, getting 3 kills. Tempest got 3 kills, going down in 9th place. Team Moops, yes, they needed more points, but still getting 4 for that squad wipe, going down in 10th place.
That's funny though, right? It says 4 kills up on there, and it's Double that did all the kills. Double was the one-man army. Now, obviously, everyone helps out and does the damage, but yeah, he was the one to pick them apart. But he was also that player that was pushing forward more than the rest of them as well.
And we did see that part of the fight on Potato Hill between multiple teams. Clib from Tempest did put his team under a lot more pressure while being a bit too far forward. It's the reason why he got knocked down. He got flushed, and it's not something we see often from Tempest. Yes, they, of course, have made the mistake here or there. It's the reason why they are in the position that they're in. But it's rare that we see them kind of disconnected as a team from that point of view.
Yeah.
Just didn't work out in that moment.
Well, for a few teams, it didn't work out at all, with Quick Math and YMCA getting 0 points in there. Tornado, Unity, InsideGames, and Jokers all with 1. But for Unity and InsideGames, it really doesn't matter all too much. More for them is just who's trading points at the moment. And they're just going 1 point higher each. So they're staying in the same spots. Nothing's changing for these guys. Moop still managing 4, all thanks to Double. Clib was definitely stepping up for Tempest in that game as well. But I don't think he got all the kills.
We could see 3D Max overtake both Unity and InsideGames, because they were only less than 10 points behind, and they've scored 10 points. So we could see them jump ahead. On that note, Airstation Mike scoring a solid 7 points. But it has to be said, Last Crew, BetterLuckNxTime, Milky Way, 3 teams all vying for that top 12.
And Elgit, considering they only had 2 players at that end part where everyone else was pretty stacked up, it was 3 teams with 4 and just Elgig with 2.
Yep.
And they still managed to walk away with a good amount of points considering everything they went through.
Now, Muck, Rip, 2 members of the Last Crew in the top of the damage leaderboard. 1,200, over 1,200 for them alone, then followed by Deep for Northern Lights. And then Fate from BetterLuckNxTime getting 5 kills. The flank didn't work out in the end, but they were a man down against the side of the Last Crew, who would push onto Milky Way, but the revive was able to come up in the end.
What a boss, though, you got to say there for Fate, because just yesterday what we saw from him, that 1v4 that he managed to pull off, now he's also doing more damage and getting further kills in there. BetterLuckNxTime are doing everything they can to see if they can turn these points around.
2,200 damage, that's the turnaround with those 9 kills. Muck on his own, getting 4 kills, 3 knocks, over 600 damage. Credit the Phantom on the side of 3D Max. He got 371 damage, turning it into 3 kills with 2 knocks. Great job by him individually. And 3D Max definitely looking stronger in that first game of the day.
Yeah, definitely, especially because of yesterday was kind of rough for them. It was like they had one game that I remember being good, but the rest of the games was like they'd hang in there but not get the kills alongside it.
Yeah.
This was a good start for them to be back at third partying and doing it successfully when they decided to attack onto Potato Hill. But we still have 4 more games to go, so we are going to take a break, ladies and gentlemen. Remember to get yourselves ready for the next game, though, because we've got another Erangel one coming right up. Don't go anywhere.